So Enterprise in Place came about from a conversation in a coffee with Rachel at Elevator and Helen at the Melting Pot. So we were really just getting to know each other as female leaders in the social enterprise and the business support ecosystem. And it became really clear that we had some values alignment, how we like to turn up for both our staff and the clients and the individuals that we work with. And then with Pathways, grant funding came out, it became an opportunity for us to try and put some of that to the test and to see what difference we could really make in communities.
As a collaboration, we're really keen to develop a project that brought together our different sort of skills, knowledge and expertise, but was really focused on supporting female and minority entrepreneurs who are often overlooked within enterprise support.
The project really was created in response to evidence that's highlighted during Anna Stewart's Pathways review. I suppose what became obvious is that no single organisation can solve systemic inequality in enterprise access alone. And so basically, as the three women-led organisations with distinct but complementary strengths, we just saw an opportunity to come together to design something different.
We wanted to create something that was embedded in place. How do we connect in with our Connected Hub Scotland network, which is a network of place-based hubs dotted around Scotland from the borders right through to Shetland. All of these hubs are really embedded in the local communities. They're independent spaces where people can come and work, connect, collaborate and learn. And what we recognise with these hubs is that they're often very closely connected to local partners, local people. They understand the needs of the community and the people who are coming into their spaces. And so Enterprise in Place was born from how do you bring a national infrastructure into working really closely with a localised infrastructure.
Although we don't necessarily have staff spread out in every community across Scotland, it's really important to us that we support individuals coming from different types of communities and in different parts of Scotland in really meaningful ways. And by being able to work alongside partners like Elevator and particularly like the Melting Pot, who have built out their hub network to have a location in place, it was a no-brainer for us. We're able really to bring all the different parts of what we do and how we do it together with partners and put it into a place-based initiative.
I'm Cleo Goodman. I am based in Edinburgh and I am the project manager for the Enterprise in Place programme. I've done all sorts of roles with the Melting Pots, from community hosting to social impact measurement to being a trustee. I've been involved with the Good Ideas programme for a long time, both as a participant and as someone helping deliver the programme, working with social entrepreneurs there. So really understand how being based in a place that you know and how important that is, and having that community element is being alongside other people who are in the same position as you has as much wisdom and benefit and confidence building as the support delivered by the experts or the content and the training. So the programme is being delivered in three different areas: in Dunoon, in Glasgow and East Kilbride. And the starting point of this was the strong relationships we have with the community hubs there. So UK Collective and Glasgow Collective and Pop Shop in Dunoon are these amazing community hubs with existing relationships with the local community. Yeah, it really started there. So a lot of conversations with Hannah and Lauren and Fiona and Nikki there, who have been helping us build the programs locally. And then we went through a process of listening labs. So we hosted sort of drop-in sessions, some online sessions, and the community connectors did loads of one-to-one conversations with folk locally to explore what people needed. So the listening labs have been a really deep lesson of the different support that people need, and it's so individual to the business. So translating that into a program that is sort of useful for lots of people has been a really interesting process.
My name is Lauren Stewart and I'm the community connector for Glasgow. Accidental entrepreneur. I began in hospitality And then I had the opportunity to work in a creative agency. I realised that there wasn't a lot of opportunity for creatives in Scotland to work within the drinks industry. So we created a company called The Drink Cabinet, and I've been running that now for the last 12, 13 years. I didn't have any support in my journeys. Although I'd worked in other people's businesses, I watched them do well at some things and not do so well at others. So I've had to teach myself how to be the marketeer of the business, how to be the financier, how to be the salesperson, and then how to actually, do the work. So I understand the pain at the beginning, specifically of trying to wear all those different hats. Through my sort of 15-year history of running various businesses, there's a learned understanding of everything that's, physical things like systems and processes, as well as a mentality side. It's the stuff you can't really get from a traditional course or reading a book. It's being able to bounce off each other. I think they've found that useful through the one-to-ones as well as our sort of group sessions together.
I'm Fiona Colburn-Brown. I'm the Business Development Manager here at EK Collective. We're based in the centre of East Kilbride in the Lanarkshire area. I've had a few businesses in my life. I set up a design practice with a partner, and that was getting quite successful for about 5 years we were going, and then the economy hit and it went overnight. But I have to say that was a great learning curve for business. We had no idea what we were doing. We were flailing around at the beginning. So I've got that, I've got that experience of starting from the get-go, of not knowing where to go or what to do. I set up networking in the East End of Glasgow, which was called East End Connections, a networking event, but also supporting local businesses. So I set that up as a social enterprise, and that was going really well. But unfortunately, COVID hit. Then I met David, who has the Glasgow Collective, and he set up East Kilbride, EK Collective up here, and he asked me to come and run the business up here. So been here nearly 4 years, just building up the community in East Kilbride, working with a lot of third sector organisations, but working with, in the hub itself, working with small businesses that are at the starting point of their journey.
I'm Hannah Clinch, and I am based in the Scottish West Coast town of Dunoon, which is in Argyll and Bute, and I run a social enterprise called Pop Shop Enterprises. We basically run a shop space which has become a little co-workspace. So we have a little community of members. We've got a garden space that is also for enterprising uses. It's a drinks garden that's been curated to support a social enterprise that we're trying to set up called Dunoon Goes Pop. So the whole premise is that we're trying to both develop new enterprises, develop a membership, and also develop the space so it works with the needs of our little community of users. Part of the reason that we set up was because there was a lack of really locally focused support. So support for peer learning across like freelancers and stuff, and for women. So we kind of felt that there was a bit of a gap there for what is actually effective. Throwing into the mix childcare. We don't have sort of childcare providers that provide after school support here. A lot of businesses need to get into Glasgow, they can't get back on the ferries. And that kind of support is not necessarily traditional business support, but not having access to good childcare and not having access to good networks here really kind of inhibits, I think, the type of successes that we're seeing.
My name's Nicola Reid, and I've been brought in by Lauren and Fiona to help them project manage across Glasgow and East Kilbride and to maintain some of those links between those two hubs. So logistics and that side of things, and communication with the cohorts. So I studied a creative subject and then went straight into being in the music industry as a PA. There was a record label that was run from the studio, so a studio managed and helped run the record label. And then moved to Scotland, and I set up a limited production company with my partner, and we did sound projects and things like that. And then I eventually worked in the National Library of Scotland as their sound archivist. I had a child, and I then came back, and while I was while I had my son, I set up a women's group, GOMA, Glasgow Modern Art Galleries, and we are a creative group that does things for new mums. So I guess when I came back into the workplace, I had this kind of very checkered history. But the common denominator is that I'm quite a people person and I'm quite good at logistics. So this community connector / project managing fitted quite well. So I'm now going into that as a freelancer.
I guess I'm the nucleus here in Lanarkshire for the cohort that's going to be with us in East Kilbride, because I have a wide network of people. So I know if I can't help people myself, I do know people I can refer them on to. For me, it's all about listening to where people are and listening out for some issues they might have or problems or barriers that they're facing. And from that, I can then recommend them of who they need to speak to, where they go. If you're trying to set up your business within the Lanarkshire area, you need to know someone who can put you in touch with the local support there. It's all about collaboration, because sometimes people think they're on their own and they just need to work away on their own. But we try and connect them with other businesses that they can help with peer support. And also potentially there might be some crossovers in their business, but also getting help with their technology. I mean, people know their business, but they don't know how to run a business. And that is the biggest stumbling block for businesses. All the different elements that you need to know to actually run a business. So it's about having that local community. But I think for the enterprise in place, it's a great opportunity to sit and focus on where you want to go with the business, being together with lots of different people who are in the same situation. The challenge has been the demographic, 18 to 30, women and non-binary, in East Kilbride or Lanarkshire area.
The recruitment side of it, it's been a real learning curve that getting access to those audiences takes a long time. I felt like we were just building those connections at the same time as the program was starting. The other main place that we went was the colleges, but it took a while to build those connections, and we ended up doing a student fair, so like a refreshers fair for all the students that were already in the college, and they could just drop by and talk to us about the program. And then we also gave a talk to the curriculum leadership team. And as soon as they were on board, they were kind of like thinking of people that would be great for it. And they were running off, trying to get people that were still in the building to come and hear what we were saying, because they were like, oh, so-and-so would really benefit from that. So like as soon as you're talking to the right people, these things are a dream, but it's getting to the right people that took quite a long time. But yeah, I'm really glad that we did that, and we just got that in just before the program started. So we actually got to talk to some students, and we had some sign-ups from that. And I've already had a few people today like come by the reception, and one guy said, I wanted my daughter to do it, but she's a bit too young, but when it's on again, can I sign her up? And things like that, because they've heard that it's been really good and people have got a lot out of it. So I just think there's a whole nother cohort almost like already waiting.
As a community connector, I suppose what I'm doing is really trying to connect people into the programme of support that we're developing. And also we're trying to coordinate things with local businesses and local providers of space, including the Dunoon Borough Hall and Cruve, which is a little bistro run by a local woman tailor and stuff. So we're going to use those spaces to deliver some of the activities for this programme. That place-based knowledge, I think, is really valuable, but generally within the way that we run services across Argyll is really undervalued and underappreciated. And I think that's what we're sort of trying to change, and why it's important to have someone with a local perspective that can also pay local people, because we're a town that isn't very wealthy. And I think it's really important to invest in the people that are here and to develop them and to provide them with the opportunities. Dunoon's a great place to live. It's really safe. It's got beautiful surroundings. We've got access to all sorts of things here. But we're just, at the moment, I think small towns are really struggling, especially if you're rural. And I think it's really nice to be able to sort of meet people really trying to make a difference by having a little business or enterprise that is adding to the town's vitality and vibrancy.
What we do as community connectors is create physical or digital spaces and time for the participants to either come together as a group or to meet individually. So based out of Glasgow Collective, we offered space. So even just having a real space that our participants could come and use as their business space, I think it gives them a bit of a reality that their business exists, and it makes it feel real. What I think has been really special as well is that like opportunistic moment. So every year we the Drink Cabinets support Women in Whisky, which is held around International Women's Day. I hosted 5 of the participants at our table at that event. They were fantastic. They were out networking, and actually since 2 of them have been to distilleries. So the luxury travel business is tying up with like whisky distilleries in terms of like giving a different experience in Scotland. One of the Reiki practitioners is looking at how to tie up sort of well-being with corporate experiences at some of the distilleries. Without the programme, those women wouldn't have met all of those people. They wouldn't have had the opportunity necessarily to network with 240 very receptive females in business.
My name is Gladys Somanje. I'm coming from Edinburgh. I own a company called Gladsome Care Consultancy. So it's about supporting care providers to remain compliant with care inspectorate regulations and also government health and social care, regulations. I have 25 years background from as a nurse adult in care homes and home care, and 7 years as a manager in care homes and care at home where I am right now. My life is busy enough. It's a 9-to-5 job, a lot of stress from work. So I thought, because I want to launch my business full time in April, let me go out and refresh. So I've overcome some of the fears, and I think it has built confidence. Normally, I wouldn't speak to people openly like you being recorded. I am a loner, an introvert who works with computers and, just my ideas there. But when I came out here, the community part of it, even the activities, climbing those leap of faith, and that's kind of the confidence I'm going with into my business adventure.
I am Ukrainian. I lived in Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, for all my life. Now I'm in Scotland for 3.5 years. I have 2 children, and they had been only 2 years and 7 years old when we moved. So Now my children are 6 and 11, and Scotland is their home. I came here without any, I didn't have any relatives, any friends at all. I didn't travel business. I'm professional, and I love what I'm doing. I know that understand that traveling it's like therapy, and it is something that help people to be better version of themselves. I'm happy to do it here for Scottish people, not only for Ukrainians, but now for Scottish people. And Fiona, she advised me this program, and I'm very, very grateful because it's not only about networking, it's about motivation, inspiration, and that's what I needed. And I'm very glad where women can support each other. This is especially, I believe, it's special environment, and where we all together. And when we have this support, it's really something that pushing you forward.
I am Callie McCormick and I'm from Glasgow and I work at the Carmodric Win projects. My history is all in social services and social care, and I've always wanted to help people. It's always been my passion. I definitely want to start a non-profit charity. I want it to be a one-stop shop where no matter what your challenge is, you can come to that area. I don't want it to be based in a specific area because then it closes all sorts of doors. So I would like it to start off in one area and then expand throughout. So hopefully the whole of Scotland and then eventually worldwide. I have learned so many leadership skills and what to do under pressure when you don't know what to do. I've learned so much about business and so much that I can then take back and say, this is how I actually start it up. I had no idea when I first came here on the logistics of it and where I would start, who I would go to, where I could get funding. And now being here and hearing off of everybody here, I know where to go, I know who to talk to, and I know what kind of plan I need to put in place to get there. I think I've learned a lot of confidence as well in myself and others, learning to trust people a bit more easily. Don't always look at the bad type of things and kind of having them come in and just making everything such a friendly environment was great. And I think it's a lot that I can take back to my charity and say we need to do this as a team because it really worked, even with strangers. So if we're all friends, surely we can do it as well.
I just love the sense of community that we have here. You really get to know your customers and you get to share the milestones and everyday moments and life changes together. I'm Taylor, the owner of a cafe and bar called Crew. I only opened it 8 months ago. It's just a relaxed and welcome space, focusing on good coffee and good food, trying to create a place where people feel comfortable and part of something local. For me, it's just as much about the community here as it is about the hospitality. I actually opened Crew just 13 days after having my baby, and the support from the customers was amazing. They brought me gifts and cards and everything. It was really sweet. This year I'd like to reach more customers, as I don't really think that everyone, even in Dunoon, knows that we exist yet. My main goal would be to start opening in the evenings and just kind of grow the bar side of the business. But overall it would be to continue just building a sustainable business that serves the local community, and at the moment we source as much as we can from local suppliers, so I'd like to keep doing that and sell more local bits, even like not necessarily food items but even like little gifts, like we sell paintings at the moment from local suppliers, so just stuff like that to help kind of get that out there to other people. Like most hospitality businesses, everything's sort of rising at the moment. Wages, the cost of stock, tax, national insurance, and that's all a pretty big challenge. Specifically in Dunoon, the seasonality is quite tough. The tourism just drops significantly after kind of the October holidays until Easter, so the winter months are particularly challenging for small businesses, I would say.
I'm Alex. I work for an organisation called the Carmodric Win project. It's a dream of mine to be able to start my own non-profit organisation, and I just thought that would be a great opportunity to meet some like-minded people who'd gone through similar things. Yeah, it's just been a great experience to connect with other people and hear their side of their journeys through business. My ambition is to basically seek out communities in Glasgow and hopefully around the whole of Scotland that are poverty stricken, and hopefully enforce via the government some life skills and education based community projects for young people and specifically people with additional support needs, and get them to experience different things that they may not have the funds to at home. I have gained some amazing contacts from people in all sorts of fields. I've gained some good friendships, and I've gained knowledge about how to go about starting something from the ground up, and also experienced how important it is to be part of such a positive environment and a positive team that can collaborate and come up with extremely creative ideas.
This is Dina Muraj for Move Forward Movement. I signed up myself for a challenge weekend at Donut Outdoor Center. It's an Aberfoyle, and it was absolutely amazing. This is something that I've never done before, and I had such an amazing time. Why? Because I get to meet a lot of people, I get to do the networking, and we got to do quite a lot of activity with it that really pushed me out of my comfort zone, and I had so much fun. The thing is as well that the whole team, they were so supportive, and everything just worked out really, really good, and I'm already looking forward to do a next challenge. I had so much fun, so I just want to recommend everybody to kind of join this challenge, because what it does is it just takes you out of your comfort zone. You get to experience like the nature, you get to see a lot of people, you get to meet different people from different business and different organization, and plus you get to learn quite a lot, because there are other activities that are educational that will actually help you grow as individual, as an organization, and you can apply this principle in your business to help you grow. So for me, it's quite something that I've never experienced before, and I'm really happy that I actually pushed myself. That was my first challenge, actually coming in here. Just to come in here, that was my first challenge, and I'm so glad I got to do that, and I'm so grateful. I had a wonderful time. Thank you so much for having me.
The main outcome for us is that the women that engage in this support have a really positive experience, that they feel that the time that they have spent with us and as part of this programme has been really important for them, and that they feel like they've progressed on their journey.
We like to roll this out into working with other partners and other hubs within our network across Scotland, hopefully deliver something similar with them and relevant to their local context and their community. We're also really keen to use this to share how place hubs are really key to supporting people as they develop enterprises, because those locally based hubs are really necessary for the collaboration opportunities, the networking opportunities. Having a desk to go and work from is as important for people if they've got care and responsibilities or kids at home. So I think for me, that the legacy piece is recognising that this is putting into action what the Pathways report has said we need in the ecosystem. Actually, we've already got that infrastructure, we've got the networks. So for me, the legacy is showing how you can actually make this actually work.
The second piece is for us to learn from the approach as well. So I think the Ecosystem Pathways Fund provides lots of opportunity to deliver almost like programme-based initiative pilot type work. But there is also a really important opportunity to make sure that we're taking what we're learning and building it into business as usual.
So I suppose ultimately a HOPES programme shows what's possible when female-led organisations can collaborate with trust and with generosity and a shared vision for equality.
We've maintained our Community Lab online platform, and people are still posting there grants and funds and dates. They're sharing meetups. They're sharing information about their own businesses, and I don't think that will stop. I think the biggest benefit is whether businesses continue to fruition or they decide to go down another path. I think a lot of them have met people for life. We have signposted the women across sort of the other entities. So I know that a few have got funds in or requests in for first support. We have filled out some applications alongside some of the women. While it's great that there's lots of support out there, if you are working shifts and you're a carer and you're trying to do this on your very little downtime, you start trawling the internet and you're not completely digitally literate, you're spending hours just trying to find a little bit of information. Having a sort of digital space for women on that journey and a physical space that then allowed them to meet up. One of the great benefits was, although the programs had specific target ages and demographics, we brought them together quite often. And I think that you saw quite a lot of learning between different generations, the experience of the over 50s, the digital literacy of the 18 to 30s, that starts transferring.